After a long wait, we finally get to the T2. And as you can see, just look around, we're at Ngong Hills, where we've tested this car, rock mode, mud mode, and its off-roading capabilities to the full extent. You're going to see that with exceptional drone shots that we've also used to capture the T2 at work. Here's the review of the T2. Now, let me tell you about the T series. Currently in Kenya, we have the T1 and the T2. I know you've heard rumors of maybe there are others like the T8. They're not rumors, they're actually there. But today we're going to focus on what we have here on the motherland. So, I've already done a review of the T1. Now, this is the T2. Now, what's special about the T2 is Jetour focused on making this car more off-road capable by its boxy design and extra off-road capabilities and accessory options to make this car your best off-roading option compared to other cars in the market in its class. Today we're going to use the test drive model. This is the test drive model. This is not the customer consumer one, but I'm going to show you some of the few things that make it good for off-roading capabilities and also driving. So first of all, you get LED headlights. You also get fog lights over here, here and here. And the good thing about the fog lights in the Jetour T2 is when you corner, they turn. Let's say you're taking a corner this way. This will light up, the other one won't. So you might be thinking, for those who've gotten a Jetour, you might be thinking maybe one of your fog lights is faulty, but that's just a feature that has been integrated into the car to help you see better while cornering. You see this huge lamp over here? This is an accessory. It makes the car look like it has a dome. This is called a dome. Now it's not a functional hood scoop, as you can see, because it's blocked, but this is an accessory to make the car look more aggressive. You also get to option yourself these headlamps at the top of your roof so that they can light up and see further ahead than the actual headlights can see. So this is actually an off-roading pack. You can get it and I will highly recommend it. So when you come to the side, you get these massive side steps that actually enable you to get into the car easily. Now I want you to also see something else. Aside from being off-roader, doesn't mean it doesn't have to have like luxurious features. Like for example, this car has memory seats. If you open the door, you can see the seat comes back like that, so that you can get in and set in you have up to 3 memory positions, so you can be driver 1, driver 2, driver 3. That's up to you. Now we're not talking about the interior, but it's exterior. Now if you check also, you can see this side skirt. This side skirt also enables you to get to the roof easily, because you can option this also so that you can get to the roof easily, put your camping stuffs on top and continue with your life, driving your future. On the side, you can see this plastic cladding on the side. This is to protect the paint while you're doing off-roading, because sometimes when you're driving aggressively, rock chips tend to get over and scratch the paint. This helps with that. At the back, you get an extra spare wheel, and it's a full-size wheel, so that maybe you're doing off-roading and you get a flat tire, you are easily able to remove the tire, put it on, and continue with your needs. We did an extra special video on how to remove this tire. You can go to the Jetour page. We're going to put like a link down here. You're going to click the link and you're going to see the tire review on how to remove this tire, put on the spare tire, because it's not just like your normal average car. Now on the side, this is also an optional extra. Now this optional extra, it might look like it doesn't help, but it actually does. For example, come, let's show them. So let's say you've optioned this as an optional extra. You get to have 2 things. Number 1, you get a table. This can act like a table. You can just have your lunch here while you are having a good time with friends. And while you're eating something here, you can also have friends at the back. You get to open the boot and you have access to not 1, but 2 cup holders like that. And let's say you're with your kids and you don't want this to move back, you can lock it like that. This is a lock option. Unlock. So if you lock and lock, this won't move. So that's for, you can have your drinks over here, you're just having a chill time, you're having your lunch over here. But also, while you're changing the spare tire, you can put equipment over here so that it's easier for you to access. Aside from that table, you also get this shovel and you get this mask. Now you might be asking yourself, why do you need a shovel and a mask? This is a very heavy car. So let's say you want to change the rear tire and the surface at the bottom is not sufficient to put the jack. You can use this to dig, make enough sufficient room. You can put your jack, lift the car up and change your tire. Now, the mask also, the mask, you can see it has allowance for you just to see. Again, when you're off-roading, you wouldn't want to get that on your face, so you wear the mask. And it's also a good aesthetic, makes the car look a bit more aggressive, also turns heads. Now we get into the interior. Again, it's nice to have memory seats. You just come in, close the door, and you just come from outside looking rugged off-roader, and you get into a nice luxurious interior. Now, people might think just because this is a Chinese brand, it's not up to par in terms of luxury standards. My friend, you are very wrong. Every surface you touch, you either feel leather, some nice stitching, or maybe suede, depending on the trim model. Now, also in terms of these are plastics, but they feel like nice plastics. These are the only plastic pieces you get in the car, like the door handles. Okay, actually the door handles are actually aluminium. You'll only get like the paddles are plastic, this piece is plastic, and every other thing inside the car is completely leather. Now, we get a flat bottom design steering wheel. This flat bottom design steering wheel is a multifunctional steering wheel with access to very many features. For example, this being a multi-purpose steering wheel enables you to do so many functions right here on the steering wheel while you're driving. For example, increasing the volume, answering your calls. This button is used to command or summon Jetour AI. So you press this. Mode is for changing the different modes. Maybe it may be Bluetooth, FM. You get to get adaptive cruise control. You can change the speed. You can set the speed right here from the steering wheel. You can change everything. You can do even everything you want to do, like that will get your eyes off the road and onto the screen. This steering wheel enables you to do that. Now, one thing you'll notice when you get inside the interior is this huge infotainment system. This huge infotainment system allows you to do most of the functions inside the car. For example, we come to settings. Here in settings, you get to pick very many things like, this is a test drive model, by the way. This is not the actual producer model. The actual producer model has way more functions as compared to the test drive model. So when you come to vehicle, you get to change, you can come to lights, driving assist, meter. You can change your digital dash. You can go to analog depending on the time. When you come to sound, you can set your specific preference in terms of listening experience. You can have DTS. And speaking of listening experience, this car has a 11 speaker Sony sound system that only comes in the T2. Now this 11 speaker sound system gives a surround effect. For example, we have a speaker over here. This is a tweet over here. On the doors, we have extra tweeters over here and mid-range speakers at the back. Same for the back seats. And at the back, we have two subwoofers that give this car more than enough punch to make your music even more enjoyable and give you a nice experience. Aside from all that, when you come to home, you also get wireless, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay. These are necessary things to have in 2026 while you're buying a car. You also get a digital cluster over here. Now in the digital cluster, let's say for example you are connected to your Apple CarPlay, you get to see your music, the music you're playing over here. You get to see which door, you can see it can show you which door is open currently, which is the driver's side. It also shows you the tire pressure and things like that. For example, let me show you. You can see it shows you the tire pressure of each wheel. It's telling me right now to check the tire pressure because we've done some off-roading. Now, if you see on this circle dialed here at the cluster, you can see the tire pressure of each tire. You can see, you get to see your driving habits. For example, average, you can see your average speed, fuel consumption, the distance you've covered. You can reset all that. Like for example, we've covered like 43 kilometers. Average is 6.2 kilometers per liter because we've been doing some spirited driving. We were testing the sport mode, fuel consumption, how the four-wheel drive system of the T2 is actually working. So you can see if it's locked, unlocked, which wheel is getting more power, all that. Aside from all that, you also get a wireless charging port over here so that you can just place your phone here without worrying and your phone is charged. You get extra storage down here, like the way we've placed this water bottle, extra charging ports at the bottom. This is your gear selector. This is your gear selector. You can see it has you can get this option, by the way. You can see right now it has the Jetour badge at the bottom. This is your drive mode selector where you have up to 7 driving modes. Let me show you the driving modes. So we start with eco mode. You get to normal, sport mode, snow, mud, sand, rock, then you're back to eco. Now, Since this is an off-roader, you'll find yourself mostly using rock and mud mode. And you will realize by the shots we're going to clip, when you're on rock or mud mode, the car uses a very intelligent traction control system to send power to the wheels and manage how power is delivered to the ground to avoid wheel spin and get you off the ground and get you a good start smoothly and as safe as possible. That's just amazing. We're going to show you practically. You get extra storage here. This you can put your cup holders over here and storage over here, which acts also as a cooler box. Now you might have seen online the Jetour cars have a very intelligent Jetour AI system that controls some of the functions that are in the car. For example, hello Jetour.
Please continue.
Please close the sunroof.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be polite. Hello Jetour.
Please say it.
Close all windows.
Okay.
Now the car is able to do this because it has microphones. It has 4 microphones inside the car. So whoever speaks, it might be on the rear seat, on the other side, whoever speaks, the nearest microphone picks up the location of the voice and does the command. For example, when I say, hello Jetour,
I'm coming.
open my window.
Okay.
It only opens mine and leaves the left. Hey. It only opens mine and hey! It only opens mine and leaves the rest. Now, if you're comparing the T1 and the T2, you'll realize the T2 is slightly narrow in terms of the interior. You'll see the T1 will clip it here. It's slightly wider because it's a more luxurious version. And you also get handles here that you don't get in the T1. That's some of the changes that you get. Now, in terms of power, the engine and the transmission for the T1 and the T2 are the same, but the tuning is slightly different. That's all. As for AC controls, Jetour has made it easier for you. You get to select everything over here with this nice, like these buttons just feel nice to press. It has that premium feel. Again, as I was saying, there's no squeaking. It's just a very nice, firm interior, which is just totally amazing. Now, something else you'll notice in the T2, the indicator are on this side as compared to other models. And you'll notice while you put your indicator, you get one camera showing you the direction, your blind spot. Same thing for the other side. Now, when you come to the rear can fit up to 3 full-grown adults. And you can see me, I'm actually a pretty big guy, and I have sufficient legroom depending on the person sitting on front. I have good headroom, and to enhance the feel at the back, let's say, for example, you're on a rough surface and the driver is driving like on an uneven road, you also get handles over here so that you can feel slightly safer. Your choice. So another thing you also get at the back, as also known as the gossip club, you get 2 ports over here where you can charge your phones and continue with your day, laughing and having a nice time. You also get some nice pockets here at the back, and that's also pretty much it for the back. Another thing I'll also mention, this car has very nice LED reading lights. Now you can see at this panel here we have the reading lights, which you can turn off and on with that button. And you can see here is the microphone that I was talking about, so that when you're speaking, the car can detect whoever is speaking and execute the command accordingly. Now, again, I was also saying at the back, you also get tweeters. As for the front, again, to enhance the listening experience inside the T2. So it's both off-roading and luxury. It's actually, if you ask me, it's all in one. So that this is for men. You know how men buy like things like lotion, saboni, all in one. Now you can also get the T2 all in one just for you. Now, let me talk about the engine bay for a minute. Now, for you to access your engine bay, you'll have to come here and you have to open it twice like this. Now, you get access to this engine bay. Now, this test drive model of ours, we've tested the car extremely. Come and show them with the engine bay. Unaona? This is a 2-liter turbocharged engine that produces 254 horsepower and 390 newton meters of torque. All that power is sent to all 4 wheels via a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, and that dual clutch transmission helps you in terms of sportier driving and a smooth driving experience. Now, you may ask yourself, everyone is asking themselves, and most people think actually Jetours are electric. Okay, there are some that use a hybrid system, and we don't have a fully electric model yet, but here in Kenya right now, like for example this T2, this is a petrol engine. And again, people may ask, this is a very big car. Why does it have a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine? Now, when it comes to power, there are two ways. You can either have a very big engine to make power, or a small engine and add something like a turbocharger to get the same amount of power output. Now, which one is more efficient? You can use a small engine and a turbo to make the same amount of power a big engine would make. So that's what the T2 has actually done. It uses that 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, and the turbo sits right at the back. Now, you've seen the Jetours, they've been marketed for having actually good clearance in terms of how deep the car can go into water. And that's because if you check the intake system, air comes through here, not here. Here it's blocked. Air comes through here, and this is where the air box actually sits. So it goes like this. Now, this gives you clearance in terms of how deep the car can actually go in terms of water clearance. So air comes through here, it is cleaned. After it's cleaned, it goes through the turbo system, and the turbo I was talking about is right there. You can see the turbo is there with the heat shielding and the shielding at the back. So air comes through there, goes into the turbo, and after it goes to the turbo, hot air comes from the turbo and comes down through a piping and goes through the front mount intercooler. It's here, you can't see it, but it goes through the front mount intercooler, and then it is cooled. That air is cooled and comes back into the engine as cooler air, and that's how the car makes power. So again, now because it has a turbo, it has 390 Nm of torque and 254 horsepower. And how the car pulls, honestly, if you ask me, it pulls very hard. It pulls more of like a big engine. You will be so surprised how many cars this car beats in its class just by having a 2-liter turbocharged engine. That's just but a few things that make the T2 as mighty and have such a name that it has made for itself out in the car industry. Now, if you don't believe us, you can just come to our showroom, Jetour, Kenya. We are located on ICD Road, next to Mombasa Road. Come, book yourself a test drive, see what the T2 has to offer. You can also see the T1 and other models. You can see what the T2 has to offer. You can organize, get yourself a T2 and drive your future.
Oh, yes, yes.